And let's go ahead and share the screen. Okay, so as I said, I steal everything or borrow, but I'm giving credit. This information came from Brian Tracy, and I absolutely love that his thought process when it comes to how he first said when it comes to closing a sale, it's actually a recipe for selling. So it's not just boom, here's how you close the sale, but it's actually a progress to get to that closing of the sale. And so when I was listening to this podcast yesterday, here he gives us 7 steps to on this recipe for selling. I'm sorry, one moment. I got to see faces, and right now I'm on speaker view, and I can't see your faces, so it's hard to talk. Let me go back to here. Okay, now I see a bunch of faces. Sorry about that. I can't talk to a blank screen. I got to see someone's face. Okay, so, well, Karen, you're the face I keep seeing, so smile at me. Okay, so this recipe for selling. Okay, 7 steps. First, find qualified people. And as I walk through this recipe for selling, Brian Tracy talked about that he went from really having a difficult time selling anything. And he said, you know, as human beings, we are selling all the time. We're selling our opinion. We're selling something that we like or that we dislike. It's whatever we're doing, we're selling. We just may not recognize that as selling. And when he was talking, he said, so many of us are conditioned from the get-go to be afraid of selling. And whenever you, I'm going to talk a little bit before we go into this, but whenever you think about when you start telling people about and you start approaching them about the business, so many times what you hear, what's one of the first things you hear someone say? Oh, I can't sell. Anybody had anyone say that? Raise their hand.
Yes.
I tell you, I don't know. I've probably heard that 1,000 times. Oh, I can't sell anything. Well, we sell something every single day. You know what? I sell, you know, if there's something I like, I go and tell everyone or dislike. And so what we have to realize is we were born to sell. We really were. It's just our mindset can put us in a position that we think we can't do it. And so today, as we talk about these 7 steps of selling, let's embrace it. You know, sometimes we shy away and we say, oh, we're just sharing. We're just sharing. We're not. We're selling people on the idea that Juice Plus is the next best thing to fruits and vegetables. We really are. Whether or not they buy, that's a whole nother story. And so let's embrace it. Let's feel good about it. Let's feel confident when we go to share Juice Plus. And actually what we're doing is selling them on this idea of that they need it. Okay, so here are his steps. First and foremost, we got to find qualified people. And as I'm writing these 7 steps down, I want you guys to take notes and think about, okay, which of these 7 steps do you kind of have pushback or trouble with or a challenge with? And we'll kind of unpack them and talk about them. So number 1, you got to find people. And if we're not about adding people to our memory jogger, I've been gone for 2 weeks, but it hasn't been that I haven't been working, because I came home with 5 names of people that I want to talk to, whether it be about the product or the business. So we've got to constantly be adding people to our memory jogger, finding those qualified people. Then we've got to start this process of developing relationships. These people, these 5 people that I met over my course of the 2 weeks when I was traveling, I got to start that process of developing a relationship of trust with them. I've got to start, number 3, discovering what are their needs. You know, one girl I talked to, I was at a baby shower yesterday, and I talked to her about Juice Plus, and she said, I really think I need that. I said, absolutely, especially for your baby. As your baby's developing, you want that baby to get a ton of nutrients. And so I know what her need is. I know where her thoughts are. So now it's just going to start beginning to give her the information to validate. Present your product or service as a solution. And so she was talking about, taking a prenatal, but yet it's not whole food nutrition. So we had a great conversation as I'm looking at point 4 as presenting Juice Plus as her solution. Answer their questions and concerns. Number 5. Number 6, get the prospect to take action and to close the sale, which we're going to unpack that in a second. And then take such good care of that person that they bring you their friends and that they repeat and become not only just buy Juice Plus once, but continue to buy Juice Plus from here on out. That's the beautiful thing that we have with our Juice Plus product. We don't have to give this high pressured sale because it's not this huge amount of money that we're making off of one order, but it is having a product that people fall in love with, realize their need, and so they're coming back for more. And so that is a beautiful thing. When I was listening to Brian Tracy, he talked about when you're looking for a network marketing company, if you're looking for a network marketing company, he goes, one of the things I always recommend is that you get a product that is consumable. You guys, I've got customers, and I know you guys do too, that are 10, 15 years, have taken the product and been my customer that long. So not only do we have a product that is reoccurring, that's consumable, we have a product from everyone from womb to tomb. So right now, when you think about the product that we represent, we've got 2 things that is, in my opinion, makes this Juice Plus business so appealing when we're talking to someone about the business. So thinking about those 7 steps, let me hear which one is maybe most challenging. Anybody? Which one's most challenging for y'all?
Can you go back and show the steps?
Yes, I will. I just can't stand looking at that and not seeing anyone's face. Okay, so find qualified people. Number 2, develop relationships of trust. Discover their need. Present your product or service as a solution. Answer questions. And you know what? I put service there for a reason. I love how Brenda Proctor says, she goes, I tell people I'm the plus in Juice Plus. They get me. They get you to be their coach, to be their buddy, to be their resource, their reference, the referral. They get you. So that's part of the solution. Ask questions and hear their concerns. We don't want to just start trying to sell something when we don't know what they need and we don't know what their questions or concerns are. So make sure you've exhausted those so that they have no reason to say no. Then it's getting into that action. And then we're going to talk about how you close the sale. And then you guys have just been gifted with a customer. Take good care. I tell you guys this all the time. 50% of my customers are referrals from other customers. My gosh, that is our best place to go get new customers, is having conversations with our current customers. Okay, so that's the process of getting to closing the sale. And that's the recipe for being a great salesperson. So tell me, where's the challenge? Anybody have a challenge in that process? Everybody feels good.
I do.
Tina. Yay!
Can you hear me?
Uh-huh.
Oh, good. Okay, I didn't know if I needed to push a button. I think for me, it's just number 1, finding qualified people.
Okay. All right.
because some people, especially it seems like people my age, there's a lot of them are married. Most of them are married, and they're just happy with where they are, and they're really not wanting to take on a new career.
Okay, so if I'm hearing you, it's not customers that you have a hard time finding people. It is
Prospects for the business.
Prospect for distributors.
I'm sorry, you're doing customers closing the sale.
No, either one. No, either one. And I agree, Tina, you and I are in the same age bracket, so I get it. So I'm making a note, and we're going to, let's do maybe next week's call, let's workshop where to go to find distributors.
Okay.
So I agree with you. That would be my most challenging one. Yes, Tish. So let me just say, I'm not sweeping that under the rug. That'll be next week's. We'll unpack where do we go find distributors. Tish.
I just want to piggyback on that. I agree 100%, but it's even the younger ones too. I mean, I've got so many distributors. I've got one who recently became a distributor. She was ready to go, has her website up. She's talented. She's busy with another business, but she's not moving. I mean, she's taken the product. And so I have too many people at that level where they become distributors and they just don't do anything with it. I'm like, why did you spend your $50? So,
okay, I think that's another. I'm just let you guys know, I'm writing these down, and we're gonna unpack them. Anybody else?
I have something. So I think step one is hard for me, for customers, because there is another program out there right now locally where I live. Apparently everybody's jumping on board this new Optavia diet.
Okay.
And there's just everybody I meet, you know, when I start to talk to them about Juice Plus or the Shred, they're like, oh, you should try Optavia.
Okay.
Oh, I'm doing the Optavia. And it's like, I'm telling you, it's spreading here like wildfire. And because of that, I feel like I'm getting squeezed.
Okay. I've written that down, and we'll tackle that one week. But one thing I will tell you in the meantime is go back, and I can't remember how many, when we did the call on the 7 secrets on presenting your product. That, to me, getting that verbiage down, Juice Plus is set apart from anything else I've seen. So go back and watch that, but we will tackle that question, because I do think, unlike 20 years ago when I started, there wasn't anything else out there.
Right.
And
I find a lot of competition.
I think it's easier now because of social media that I didn't have 20 years ago, but it's also more challenging because we have a lot more competition, that we have to learn how to distinguish and set ourselves apart. We don't need to knock another product. We don't even have to do that. We have to hone in on what makes Juice Plus superior to anything else.
Well,
that by touting, and we talked a lot about that on that 7 secrets in presenting your product.
I do tell, you know, people that it's NSF certified, it's fine ripened, that it's the most clinically researched product, nutritional product on the planet, in the world, and that nothing compares to it. And I'm not knocking Optavia. My co-leader of my Girl Scout troop did Optavia, and she lost over 100 pounds, and she's killing it on it. And because of that, she's posting all these before and after pictures, and people know her, so they're signing on with her. And then it's like, well, that's my circle.
Yeah. Okay.
So I have a hard time finding qualified customers because they're already involved in that, and that's so expensive that they're not willing to look at something else right now.
All right. Well, let's unpack that then, and we'll tackle that, because I think you're making a good point. All right. Any other, you know, in that 7-step process, anything else we need to kind of unpack? We're going to unpack the closing of a sale today, but any other of those 7 points that we need to unpack?
I think personally, the biggest thing for me is discovering their need.
Okay.
And the only way to do that is to develop a relationship. And the only way to do that is to ask them questions and engage them in conversation. But I think that's not something that most of us come to automatically.
Okay, we've kind of talked about that when we did the all those questions, but I agree. I think we can come back and revisit that and look at it another way and continue to build our skills in that regard. Okay, so I've got 4 topics that we're going to tackle over the next few weeks. But today we're going to tackle the how do you close a sale. So just know we're going to keep going back to these 7 steps. And Brian Tracy talked about a guy that he worked with that couldn't sell anything. And he took him through these 7 steps and he worked on making sure he knew how to do those 7 steps and mastered them. Within 5 years, the guy was making $1 million in a network marketing business. So we got to get good at each one of those steps. So maybe what we do is maybe we go back and hit each step. We're doing closing the sale today, but maybe we just go back and start down that list. You know, we're tackling number 6 right now today, but we'll go back and tackle the other ones. And I love how Eric Worre talks about, let's become professionals at our network marketing business. Okay. So let's jump into this how to, and I love how Carrie Vitiello talks about how to nail the sale. She always said, and she said she's going to tell her story next week. She couldn't do it. She had to work today, but I talked to her earlier and I said, today would be a day for her to tell her story also, because she always talks about nailing the sale. And so I listened to this guy do a 6-minute talk on nailing the sale. How do you go about doing it? And he referred back to just exactly what Brian Tracy was saying. It is a process. You know, if we try to go nail the sale, close the sale before we've walked through those prior 5 steps, then I can guarantee you we're going to fail at nailing the sale. So in order not to fail at nailing the sale, here was his 3 points, and I loved them because they were simple. 1, we got to ask questions, and then we have to listen. And I tell you what, I'm the biggest offender. I think I've gotten good down through the years about asking questions, but I still have to do better about actually, once I've asked a question,
and back here,
shut up.
taking time and
Okay, somebody needs to hit mute for us. Okay, so but where my problem sometimes comes into play is I may ask the question, but then I start talking again. And we have to really, be quiet and give them time to really share and really listen into what they're saying, which goes into the next point of, he said, garner empathy. And I actually, even though I would have kind of thought, oh, I know what the word garner means, I looked up the definition of garnering empathy. And it said, acquire and put into empathy. So, what we're doing is acquiring information. So we ask the questions, and as they're talking, we're truly listening and we're acquiring information. We're gathering information. And once we've been able to gather the information, we have empathy. We are putting ourselves in their shoes and actually experiencing what they are experiencing. And a lot of times, in order to do that, is repeating back what we think we heard them say. Because if we repeat back what we think we heard them say, they know we're really doing this. We're really garnering empathy so that we understand how they're feeling. And then lastly, which I think a lot of us do 1 and 2. I think I do an okay job at that. But I think this last point is where a lot of things break down when people go to close the sale. And that's confidently diagnosing. Okay, and I can't stand this. So write down those 3 points real fast. Ask questions, then listen. Garner empathy, and then confidently diagnose. I feel like it's that last point is where we fall short. And I loved when this guy was giving these 3 points, I loved what he said. He said, think about it. If you go to a doctor, you have a problem. So if I've talked to them, I've listened, I've sat in a mud puddle, garnered empathy, I really know what they're experiencing and I know what their need is. He said, imagine going to a doctor and you've got whatever ailment you've shared with this doctor. He, instead of asking more questions, so you're having headaches, Beth, tell me a little bit about that. You know, when are you having them? How often are you having them? Have you tried this? Have you done that? What do you know, him asking a bunch of questions, examining you. Let's say he doesn't even do that. I'm talking to Beth because I see her face. Let's just say he doesn't even do that. Immediately, he just whips out some medicine. I think maybe this is what you need. I'm not sure. It may cause some side effects, but I think, you know, try it. Give it a whirl. How confident are you going to be about taking that medication? It's a little scary, isn't it? Mm-hmm. But what if he asks you, this doctor asks you 15 questions? He's looking in your ear, he's looking in your eye, he's pushing on your arms, your back, he's asking 1,000 questions, asking where you've been. You know, maybe you've got malaria and he's treating you for, you know, some other disorder. You know, I just got back from Uganda, so malaria is on my mind. I'm like, oh my gosh, am I getting a headache? Am I? So anyway, what, you know, you lack confidence, so you're not going to want to take. You're not going to want him, and you're not going to want what he's recommending because he hasn't developed sat in a mud puddle and tried to figure out what's going on. So what happens is a lot of times we're like, yeah, do you want to try some Juice Plus? Maybe it'll help. Or what if we listen good, we get in the mud puddle with them, we hear what's going on, and then we say, oh my gosh, here's what Juice Plus is. Here's what I personally have experienced. Here's what I've seen. Here's what I've heard. Here's what the research says. Here's what fruits and vegetables will do. Oh my gosh, you've got to try some Juice Plus. Mm-hmm. I think you're going to love it. Mm-hmm. Now, how many people do you think are going to be like, sign me up? You know, what was it? It was the confidence. My gosh, I've been taking this stuff for 20 years. I won't go a day without it. I go up and wake up my kids if I see they haven't taken it. I bring it in a little cup to bed with a glass of water if I see my husband forgot to take it. That's how much I believe in it. You got to get going on Juice Plus. You're going to love it. Okay. Is there a difference or is there a difference?
Yeah.
So let me ask that question. When it comes to nailing the sale, you know, are you asking questions and really listening? Are you getting in the mud puddle with them? Oh my gosh. I remember before I got on Juice Plus, I had these hormone headaches. I guess there's no men on here. I knew when it was time for me to start because I would get a headache. It was hormonal, you know? And so I get it. Do you think maybe yours is hormonal? Or maybe it's stress related. Then I talk about the Vineyard Blend. You know, really try to understand, one, what their need is, then understand it. Then talk about how fruits and vegetables will help with whatever's going on with them. And granted, we don't want to, you know, tell them, oh my gosh, you know, it'll grow your arm back if your arm's been cut off. But really try to get in the mud puddle with them and make the correlation between our research and what's going on with them. Your personal story and what's happened with you and the impact that Juice Plus has had on you. And then that last thing, diagnose it with confidence. I believe you're going to love it. Okay, somebody's got a dog barking. Hit the mute button for us, please. So anyway, does that make sense? I feel like so many times it's the confident. When I heard him say, I was like, oh my gosh, that's what seals the deal with people, is that your confidence flows over into them and they feel confident about buying Juice Plus and taking that next step. All right, I'm going to shut up for a minute and let me hear from you guys. Can anybody relate to what I'm talking about when it comes to the confidence part? Yes, no? Let me hear from you.
I think so. Again, that takes a little bit of time and practice to do, but it's very doable. And I've only been doing this a little over a year, but the confidence now that I have is crazy compared to when I started.
And have you seen, if I said you've talked to 10 people in the beginning, how many of those 10 people would have jumped on board with Juice Plus in the beginning, and how many out of 10 today?
Well, I'm not the normal case study here because mine is more health related, and I shared with people like me that needed the health restoration. So same amount, but I'm just more confident and more casual about it rather than feeling like I was rehearsed.
Got it.
But
I like
Karen, the number of people that have come on board with you now is totally different than what you started with.
Right, doing the business, of course, yes, but
but that's still believing,
Right.
Yeah.
Right. You're right.
I agree. I when I first started, I was kind of, I didn't really know, is this going to work for me? Is it not going to work for me? But, it only took a few months before I started seeing changes in myself and in my kids. And as soon as I was able to share those stories with confidence, people started jumping on board. But, before I actually saw the difference, it was hard because it was like, well, I know there's clinical research out there, but I haven't personally witnessed it. And so once I started to see it in myself, in my kids, then I could say with confidence, yeah, I've seen it in me, I've seen it in my kids, and there are these clinical studies that back it up with science. So, but I think the personal touch to it is the personal experience with it is key, because you're speaking from your heart then, not just from, your brain.
And I think your belief is so much better because,
Yes.
That's why I tell people I'm bulletproof. Nothing that you can say will change what I know happened for me and
Yes,
others.
agreed.
And I think that same confidence that you're talking about, Marie, with over time, I think we also have to learn to apply that when we're sharing the business. That we absolutely believe what you have is the best thing out there, hands down. People need to feel it. They need to hear it in your voice. They need to hear the emotion, the excitement. You guys, I'm telling you, I think we way underestimate this confidence, whether it be when we're sharing the product or the business. And I mean, just saying, oh my gosh, you have got to do this with me. You have to come on board. You are going to love it. And I'm telling you right now, hands down, 20 years in this business, almost, the last year, my obsession with podcasts has built my belief. Even I've always had a belief in this business, but has built my belief in this business for me personally. We just finished the book study. I just finished the book while I was gone, the book study that we're doing, Girls Stop Apologizing. And what it reminded me is all the podcasts I've been listening to, I've got some crazy goals set for myself. And there are times when I think, this is ridiculous. There is no way is it really possible that I can achieve the goals I've got in my heart? And they're crazy. They're crazy. And reading that book and then listening to the podcast I've been listening to is, by gosh, if those people can do it, I got just as good of a shot as anyone to hit $1 million. And you know what? I freaking believe it. And my confidence It may take me another 20 years to do it, but I am not going to stop trying. I'm going to go after it with all my heart. And so I think we have to, it's that kind of confidence, even if it's a crazy goal, even if it takes me 20 years to get it, there's something attractive. So my question is, do any of you guys want to go after it with me?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
You know what? It's that confidence that gets you, that when someone else, when I'm listening to Eric Worre interviewing these people, I keep saying to myself, there is nothing they have I don't have.
It's true.
You know, but kind of back to the Rachel Hollis book, she talked about, you know what, it's what happens is we give ourselves these short-term vision of what we expect of ourselves in a short period of time. And she said, where I got took me 15 years to get there. You know? So I think what happens, we set this goal and we set ourselves such a short period of time, and then we don't hit it, and then we get discouraged. But it's that confidence to go the long haul.
Elaine, I know you love podcasts. I don't know. Do you know that Rachel Hollis has a podcast?
I do.
I listen to her. I like her.
Yes. Okay, I'm going to stop.
One more thing, Elaine, one more thing. When you were talking about sitting in the mud puddle, about the empathy, on the Team Extreme Facebook page on May 10th, I posted a video from Mitra Ray where she specifically talks about really listening to people and helping them feel the pain of their situation. I think only 2 people have even watched it, if they have. It's really powerful.
Okay.
And, yeah, May 10th.
Okay, that's our homework, you guys. Mitra Ray. I'm making myself a note because I don't know if I've watched that or not. So I'm going to go back and watch it.
It's why people fail to recruit more people on their team and how to have more influence.
Ooh.
It's really good. It's like
okay,
15
that's definitely a homework one. Why people, what is it?
Why people fail to recruit more people on their team.
Okay.
And how to have more influence. I mean, she really goes into, you know, that this person's in a commute, and she said, you want them to feel, what does it feel like that you have an 2-hour commute back and forth every day? What would you do with that time? I mean, it's powerful.
Yeah, I'm one of those 2 people who watched it, Brenda. It really was powerful. I watch her every morning. She does a live Monday through Thursday. She does a Monday training, and I watch her every Monday through Thursday also.
Oh, good.
She's incredible.
Good. Yes, that's exactly where it's from. Thanks, Marie.
Okay.
When you were talking about the mud puddle, that's the first thing I thought of.
All right, I'm going to stop because we're supposed to stop at 30 minutes. So I'm going to stop the training.